Hi, Kelly Morgan here, and I'm first draft Friday on Facebook Live. If that's not a tongue twister, I don't know what is. I see someone is here, but I can't see who it is. It's Audrey. Hello, Audrey and Leonida. It's so nice to see you today. And what I'm going to talk about, well, last week, what I talked about is if you have this one thing, it's going to stop you from writing. And that was perfectionism. And today, I'm going to talk about the three things that my kitty Freckles does that will help you do your most wonderful writing yet. And I'm going to do them in order and stay to the end because the last one is the most important. And I'm even going to give you a little bit of an exercise so you can start doing this in a small way. Yeah, so make any comments, ask any questions as we go along. And the first thing that I want to say is that I am a person who didn't particularly like pets. It's not that I don't like animals. I did. My family always had dogs. And when I moved in here with my husband he had a cat named Freckles. And not Freckles, Peanut, Calvin. I'm nervous. Anyway, so I started getting used to being around a cat. And when Calvin died, I wanted to get another cat. And I was watching him when I was getting ready for this broadcast. And I thought, the things that he does that I need to bring into my writing are three. I'm going to say what he does is he experiments. He's very curious and he takes risks. He'll jump off of the counter. He's not afraid. And that's not always the way he is, because when we first brought him home, he would just sit in the closet. He would hide. So it's as he becomes familiar with being with us and trusting us that he's taken a lot more risks. And I think that's, oops, my hair, is a good thing for all of us to remember. And then the second thing that Freckles does effortlessly is he delights me. And I'm always looking at him because he's so cute. He's a kitty. And I think that's what we need to do when we write. We need to think about who we're talking to and do things that delight them. So for example, if you're interested in kitties, you're probably more interested in this broadcast in some ways, or if you're interested in writing. Yeah, because when you're delighted, you feel something. And the other thing that's good to feel is sadness. So if you have a story that helps people feel sad, that's something else that we appreciate. And the third thing, and this is by far the most important thing that the kitty reminds me of, and that is being vulnerable. And I actually wrote down this quote. Let me get it here. Oh, my hair is going the opposite way. Let's see, has anyone else showed up? Well, hello. I'd ask questions if you want. The most important thing that you can do in anything, your speeches or your writing, is to reveal vulnerable moments from your everyday life, because it almost always pays off. And that's from a woman named Margot Littman, who's a national grand champion, slam champion. And what I want to do is tell you this idea of just being vulnerable isn't about just throwing up everything that's happened to you in your life. If you're a fiction writer, it's certainly not about that. But it is about what the kitty's been teaching me, which is just being vulnerable and being curious and taking risks. And the thing is that your ego wants you to show up in the world in a certain way. Like right now, mine wants me to look really good on this broadcast. It doesn't want me to stutter over anything. Gosh, I hope it's going. It doesn't want me to look bad to you. It has a certain way that it wants me to look in the world. And when you reveal things about yourself that are a little bit Well, let's just start this way. I want you to try this if you can. If you're watching this later, you can post it later or post it now. And that is, oh, I have 2 reactions. See all. I can't see things here. So maybe we'll do a show. It's not showing your comments. So I don't know if you've made live comments or not. Anyway, so the most important thing you can do if you want to start is through story, is to reveal yourself. And if you want to do this at home, if you're in business and you're not necessarily a writer, or if you're a very experienced writer and you haven't been as vulnerable as you need to be, just start with the statement, I am blonde. I am whatever. Just tell some facts about yourself. So you can do this at home. I am, I am, I am. And the statements I wrote about myself are that I am, and try to get increasingly vulnerable as you go. So I am a Bachelor TV show fan. I feel like that's pretty vulnerable because I don't want people to see that I'm that, because I'm kind of embarrassed about The Bachelor. I'm a pet owner. I am a recovering serious person. I am newly married. Okay, so if you have out a pen and paper, you can write down a couple of those statements right now. What are your am statements? I am. And as you let people know increasingly more about what you are right now, you become more vulnerable. The second thing that you can do is I was. And again, just let yourself express what you haven't been expressing, perhaps in your writing. So I was a closed down the bar drinker. I was a hypochondriac. If you find yourself saying I was scared, go a little deeper. What were you scared of? So when I go a little bit deeper with that, I think, geez, I was scared I was never going to get married, or I was scared that I would never quit drinking, or when I quit drinking, I was scared that I would never have fun again. And by using these I am statements and I was statements, you can become increasingly vulnerable. Now, the thing is, the word vulnerability means open to attack. And I've talked about this before. When we're open to attack, we're actually a bit transparent. The arrows can go right through us. And we can start to just share from that place of, I am who I am. And that's actually the biggest thing that my cat teaches me, is Freckles teaches me his true nature by just being in the moment and being himself. And as he's gotten to trust me, sometimes he'll roll around on his back and he'll actually let me pet his tummy. And when he doesn't want his tummy to be petted, which most animals don't like, he uses his paws to push me away. And so again, that's what we can learn from Freckles, is be vulnerable. And when you get uncomfortable with it, don't go any further. Just take it one baby step at a time when you're writing. And by the way, you can learn this from your child. You can learn this from your dog. You don't have to be a kitty lover to learn this. Yeah, so I don't see that, and I don't even know if I'm really up here. I guess it says live. I see 2 people have joined us. Do Audrey or Leonida, do you have any questions about these exercises or about how you can show your vulnerability through your writing? Just let me know, and I'll stay on for another second or 2 to see if you have any questions. Okay, I'm not seeing any questions or comments. So let me say, next week, this time on Friday, I will do another Facebook Live broadcast and on how to write your first drafts quickly and efficiently and have fun doing it. And next week, I'll also be doing a challenge. It's a 5-day. Oh, hey there, Shelley Lang. Gosh, I'm happy to see you. I just finished talking about the number one thing our kitty can teach us is to be vulnerable, and how as human beings we should be like the cat, and that is to take it a baby step at a time in our writing. And so you might want to go back and listen to this. Do you have any questions or anything about that? You can ask them here and I'll answer them. And what I'll say too is next week, I am going to be doing a broadcasts and classes. It will be all on my More Fun Writing Facebook group. And Shelly, I think you're in that. Leonida, I guess. Oh, so Shelly says, I heard it, but I guess it wasn't showing. No, and who knows how many people are here, because I'm not seeing the viewers. Anyone else here? It's really nice to see you again, and I love your talk. Oh, thank you, Shelly. I'm trying to be as vulnerable as I can, which is what I'm talking about. And I got to say, just going on Facebook Live is pretty vulnerable because, thank you. Yes, I think so. It's just vulnerable because I don't know who's going to show up, if anyone will show up. And that's a little bit scary. And I guess I'm scared that people won't show up. So again, if you're working with things that you're scared of, that's a way to go deeper into your vulnerability. And next week on Facebook Live, I'm not on Facebook Live, on my Facebook group, More Fun Writing. Oh, Liz, hey, how are you? I'm glad you're here, and I'm glad to see you 2 weeks in a row here. And I just finished talking about being vulnerable. Does anyone have any questions about that and how it's a kitty or a baby or a puppy can teach us more about writing like that? Okay. Cool. Then I am going to start signing off, which is to say that next week. Oh, Shelly, sure, I am afraid no one will notice my work too. Gosh, thanks for sharing that. And I know there's different kinds of creative work you do. Yes, thank you, Liz. And if people don't tune into your live broadcast, they'll view it later, no doubt. Yes, from your comment to their ears. Get it out in the universe and share it with people. Because, oh gosh, I think it's so important to share our stories and to share them vulnerably, because it's what helps me connect to you. And the fact that you, Liz and Shelly, and I'm not sure who else here has shared your stories with me, that's helped me connect to you. That helps you be interesting. For those of you who are in business, sharing your stories is a way to actually bring in new clients, because they don't look at you as just selling them something. They look at you and they start to get to know you as a person. And I think that's really important. They get more engaged. They're more inspired. All of those reasons are reasons to be more vulnerable. And again, the exercises I shared that you can do at home in your journal is I am and I was. The third exercise, actually, which I didn't talk about earlier, was blank is the story of my life. So for me, not eating too much is the story of my life. Getting married someday is the story of my life. Or the journey to getting married is the story of my life. So again, all three of these exercises are things you can play with in your journal, or come into the challenge next week. It's a 5-day Facebook challenge on More Fun Writing, my Facebook group, and just apply to be in there, or you may already be in there. And I think maybe Diana's even here. Someone cannot see everyone who is here. Anyway, and I will be doing writing my morning pages next week, and I challenge you to write them next week for 5 days, and let's see what happens. Let's see how we can just write stream of consciousness, 3 pages every morning, morning pages, and see what that brings to us. Thank you for doing this, Kelly. I have missed you. And something that I cannot read. And receive so much for your work with The Artist's Way. Oh, thank you, Shelly. I'm so glad you're here. I've thought about you often. I know you're living close by, and I know that you're doing some writing and designing, and I'm not even sure what you're doing anymore because it's been a while since we talked. So I'm going to sign off. I don't see any more live. Oh, Mona Lisa. Hi. Another visual artist, Liz. Another visual artist. And then Shelley's visual actually is a designer. And Mona Lisa says, writing is difficult. I do my morning pages in Swedish. Oh, I love that. Because, gosh, when you say that, Mona Lisa, I think about one of the big points I wanted to make, which was what animals and babies teach us about being vulnerable is they're just true to their nature. They're just themselves. And of course, as we learn and grow, we learn how not to be ourselves. And so I love the idea that you're writing your morning pages in Swedish because that's taking you back to your true nature. So what do I get to get in your Facebook group? Thank you for asking that. So the Facebook group, there's different things as time goes on, but next week in the More Fun Writing Facebook group, hi, Karen. Yes, internet challenges. I know how that goes. I'm so glad you're here. I'm just answering a question from Mona Lisa Lind, who's a visual artist who writes her morning pages in Swedish. And she asked what she'd get next week in the Facebook group, More Fun Writing, when we do the morning page challenge. And here's what I'm offering. One is I've done 5 pre-recorded classes about morning pages. And I'm going to, on each day, I will post one of those classes at 9 o'clock. It runs about 5 minutes. And I talk about things like how to get in your observer self and depersonalize your writing, how to be true to your nature, how to write without stopping, how to stop judging yourself, or how to, when you notice yourself being critical of yourself, how to, gosh, Mona Lisa said, I write better in English. How interesting then that you're going back and doing your morning pages in Swedish. Liz says, Mona Lisa, I think all you have to do is hit like on her page, then you'll be in the group. Yes, and there's 3 questions you can answer, which are really easy, and I will just automatically welcome you into the group. Mona Lisa, you may even be in there. You might want to check. I know, Karen, you joined yesterday. Liz, I'm not sure. I think you're in there. Yeah, you are. You know how to do it. But the second thing that I'm going to do next week is some Facebook Lives. So if you have any questions about writing morning pages, I'll answer those. I'm going to try. I'm not guaranteeing that I'm going to try to do a Facebook Live right when I wake up in my pajamas, right before I do my morning pages. And I'm going to experiment a little bit. So who knows what I'll do next week? You have to show up and see. Just as importantly, what will writing Facebook pages do for you? Well, it will help you get past these critical voices. It will help you show up in your true nature. It will help you like yourself better. Everybody, and I mean, I worked with thousands of people in my writing and artist way classes, said doing morning pages is one of the absolute best things that they ever did for themselves. What are morning pages? Just writing stream of consciousness, 3 pages, and then first thing in the morning. Don't let anybody read them. Then get up and do whatever it is that you have to do. Any more live comments, questions? Okay. If not, I am off and running. I'm going to meet somebody for lunch. And I wish you all a very wonderful Friday and good writing weekend. Okay, ciao. See you all later.